Judas Priest finally released a new live video from their Invincible Shield World Tour, and it raised a couple of eyebrows among the fans. So let's take a look at the live version of Panic Attack, talk to Richie Faulkner about a potential live DVD from this tour, as well as the Judas Priest lighting engineer about the production we see in this video, and then discuss that one thing about its authenticity that seemed strange to many fans. Here you go. By the way guys, real quick, as always, please do not hesitate to comment on anything you hear or see in this video, and especially if you disagree with me, because the whole point of our Defenders of the Faith series is of course to start a conversation. But alright, let's do it. So, in case you missed it, 5 months after the release of Invincible Shield, and almost exactly 10 months since the first single of it has seen the light of day, Judas Priest finally released the very first official live video from the current 2024 live tour. And once again, the song that has gotten all the love and attention by the Priest family was, of course, correct: Panic Attack.
Panic attack! Panic attack!
The live recording of Panic Attack starts without the studio version's synth and guitar intro, which I can't really say I'm too happy about, because even today, months later, this intro gets me going every time I hear it. And I might actually go as far as to say that it might actually be the best concert intro Judas Priest has had since the release of the Halion 42 years ago. But at the same time, I think I know why it might be cut off in this version. On this tour, Judas Priest played the intro on tape before the guitars and the drums kick in with the main riff, pretty much exactly where this live version starts, which is totally fine when you're at the venue, yet would be very hard to level and match the tone exactly on a release like this. And thus that jump, I guess, would be very audible for a listener. But nevertheless, talking about the sound itself. First of all, unlike the many live releases these days, including in all honesty the previous festival ones by Judas Priest themselves, the production on this live version is next to flawless. First of all, because it actually gives you a balance between a cleaned up, almost Unleashed in the East-like audio with the richness of a concert sound, nicely capturing the atmosphere of a live Judas Priest show of this tour. And unlike some of the latest similar releases by my favorite bands, it actually makes you want to come back to and listen to it again and again.
It's a sign of the times of bedlam rules, that the masses kind of pompous rules, and the skills of justice tip in disarray.
But what I loved about this live version of Panic Attack the most is that it actually isn't perfect. You can actually hear the guitar parts being altered in places compared to the studio version of the song, and even hear the slight tiny flaws which every real rock and metal show cannot happen without, kind of similar to what Metallica does with their live videos in the past couple of years, and which actually makes me appreciate this live version of Panic Attack even more, as it is polished, but polished just enough to keep the authenticity of a live concert sound. And now, another thing which this video shows us, which I guess is very cool to see for every Judas Priest fan, is just how much fun does Ian Hill has on stage.
Hey, this is Simon from Rapparola. It's not. Is it from Savings of Destiny? Oh, for fuck's sake. Ian, have we ever played this before live?
Now, in all seriousness, seeing how effortlessly happy Ian Hill is on stage, despite the fact that he still does not put himself in a spotlight, is simply contagious and gives you hope that despite him and Rob being in their 70s, this band still has a bunch of good years ahead of them. But most important is that you can actually hear Ian's bass both on this tour overall when you're in the audience and on this particular release, which just once again shows how much work he's doing in the back end to lead the rhythm section of a Judas Priest song and lay a solid foundation on which the classic dual and guitar attack we all love Judas Priest for can flourish. in addition, you know, I get to hang out with the band a bit backstage on this tour, and I have to say that there's some metal aura around such legends as Ian Hill, who together with Rob forged the sound of our favorite genre and will forever remain one of the founding fathers of our heavy metal family. And by the way, talking about the heavy metal family, well, here I guess would be a good time to remind that you still have a chance of winning the iconic Rob Halford sunglasses he's worn on the 50th anniversary tour, and you know, you can get them by doing a great thing and most likely saving someone's life. So if you have no idea what is going on, check out our joint fundraiser with the Judas Priest team and Rob Halford himself, and please help the Judas Priest and the heavy metal family make a difference together. All the information about how to win these glasses and about our joint fundraiser campaign will be in the pinned comment. And as Rob Halford himself said,
checking out Vlad's YouTube channel and Instagram for all the news, and let's raise some cash. Oh yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, this is actually the third video for Panic Attack that we've gotten already. After the song was initially released, we also got a lyric one, and shortly after that an official video, mostly taken from the band's appearance at the massive Power Trip festival last year, although of course Judas Priest did not actually perform it at that festival back then. And here's the thing, Panic Attack is a great song, and it definitely deserves all the attention. Yet I truly hope that we get to see the official live versions of the other songs from Invincible Shield, including the title track, Crown of Horns, and the very underrated Gates of Hell, which the 4 times it has been performed so far, at least to me, was one of the highlights of the entire concert. As with its energy and drive, it is simply meant to be played in front of a headbanging crowd of heavy metal maniacs. So here's the thing, well, I absolutely love the fact that Panic Attack has finally gotten a live version, an official live version, but even more than that, I, just like I'm sure many heavy metal maniacs around the world, am really hoping for more and more songs from this tour to get the official live releases like this one, and maybe, just maybe, for Judas Priest to consider releasing a live DVD from this tour overall.
Yeah, me too.
And here's what Richie Faulkner has to say about it.
Any plans on to release a video album for this tour?
I don't know really. We haven't really talked about it. We've upped the socials a little bit, so there's a few more video content pieces online, and we're conscious of that, putting a few more tasters up, you know, as we go through the tour, putting different things up like that. But as far as like a full show video DVD type thing, we haven't really discussed it yet. But again, you never know what the future holds.
So yeah, well, I guess there's still a, let's say, call it a 50-50 chance that they will get a proper live DVD, simply because, you know, the market for such things is not really there, I guess, anymore. I first of all still hope that the band will give such a gift to its loyal fan base, or at least hope that they will get to see more and more videos like this from the tour, especially since I personally think that every song from Invincible Shield actually deserves to be played live. And I'm actually quite sure that the more time passes, the more songs from the latest Judas Priest output will finally be performed from the stage in front of a raging metal mania crowd.
Panic attack, panic attack. Panic attack, panic attack.
Now, one of the things which you kind of can get a glimpse of only on this particular video is how spectacular the Invincible Shield tour actually is.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Here's the thing, I was blessed with the chance of seeing, you know, a couple of Judas Priest shows throughout the years. Yet I honestly believe that the Invincible Shield Tour offers one of the most comprehensive shows the band has had in many years. And the band was able to achieve it not through massive changes in stage production, because in reality this is most likely exactly the same stage Judas Priest has had on the previous tour and on the tour before that, as just as Iron Maiden, they, I'm more than sure, are reusing the hardware they have for pretty much all of their world runs. But mostly thanks to the very impressive lighting effects, which I have to say lead the visual aspect of the show, and even much more so than the massive digital screens, and which, unlike on many bands' shows, are actually very well thought through and are set up to complement the band's music. And I actually have to say that I'm really happy that both Judas Priest and Iron Maiden put a huge emphasis on the light and show on their current tours, combining these old school 80s concert elements with a modern production.
I love it!
So while traveling with the boys around Spain this year, I actually had a chance of sitting down together with Martin Brannan and talk a bit about the lighting aspect of the Invincible Shield Tour, which once again, in my opinion, you only get a glimpse of in this particular video.
The show was actually designed by Cosmo, who's been with the band for years, and he programmed it, and they wanted someone to come in as a designer who would respect his design, but also bring a bit of himself into it. And so, you know, I've been lucky enough to work with some incredible people over the years, including I did 10 years with Iron Maiden, 8 with Billy Idol, Jeff Rotel, the Waterboys, Joss Stone. I do Squeeze these days, and I was Prince's last lighting designer. Unfortunately, he passed away whilst we were on tour together. So anyway, they wanted someone to come in and bring a bit of himself, and hopefully I have. There is some great stuff that I can't take credit for all of it, obviously, because it was there before me. But you know, you tweak things, you try and make it work, and you make it part of yourself. And don't forget, you've got one of the best metal bands in the world ever, and they do so much of the work for you. And if you can't reflect what they're throwing off the stage, then God help you.
Now guys, I actually have tons of footage with the crew members from this Judas Priest tour, so please let me know whether you would like me to release some more footage of the backstage processes and the interviews with the crew members in the future videos.
Write that down, write that down!
But anyways, going back to the video itself. But of course the main question, which so many Judas Priest fans have started asking online after hearing this live version of Panic Attack, was whether what we hear on this version of the song was actually real and not enhanced. Of course, talking about Rob Halford's voice. After this video was posted online, one of the most discussed topics among the online Judas Priest family was how the flip it is possible that Rob Halford is hitting all of those notes. And not just in the studio, but at a live show, with many fans who haven't seen Priest live on this tour being rather skeptical about the authenticity of this recording, and the ones who have trolling the unfaithful for doubting the metal god.
Shame!
And here, first of all, I have to say that I don't even care which side you're on, as even with the enhancements, still, it is freaky that he's able to sound like this, especially at almost 73. Here's the thing, despite the whole fact that I actually got to witness 4 Judas Priest shows in a row this June, even I, when hearing this live version, was like, oh my god, was that really how Rob Halford sounded on stage? I actually went back and rewatched some of the footage I personally took of this particular song, and I can say with 100% certainty that what you hear on the live version is pretty much exactly what you will hear when you see Judas Priest live this year. So in my personal opinion, if you still have a chance of witnessing this band live in 2024 and you're still contemplating whether to do that or not, I honestly can't even understand what you're thinking about. Just do it, because believe me, this will be one of the best shows you've seen in a very, very long time. But anyways, what do you guys personally think about this live version of Panic Attack, and which other songs would you like to get such releases for? Please let us know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching the short video, guys. Don't forget about our fundraising campaign, and we will prevail. Slava Ukraini!